What's going on, everyone? Pinch out here, and got some good news for you. Got some really good news. And that good news is, well, it's for everyone, obviously. So thank you for tuning in. Number one, if you guys aren't a Patreon member, please head on over to my Patreon page and become a Patreon subscriber. Pretty simple. Let's get talking about the VR6. Number one. So, Three Bowman first. Yeah. What's going on, Three Bowman? All right. So first things first, we all been talking about the contest. Contest is over. Now, what's up, Edgardo? Edgardo. First, the contest is over, but we have already started on the next one. We have two contests actually going together. All right. Meaning, number one, we have a contest for the car stereo. Full stereo system for your Volkswagen in general. Number two, we're going to be building a VR6 12-valve car. We haven't decided yet which car, but as it stands right now, the Mark IV with the 12-valve VR6 is currently the winner by a landslide of choice. Number one, due to cost. Number two, due to how close it is from my house. Pretty simple and straightforward, that's for sure. So that's exciting because exactly, Tico, it's time for a VR6 because we're building one, and we're going to build one for you guys, and we're going to go from start to finish, beginning to end, everything you're going to need to learn about a 12-valve VR6, which is funny thing, you can use it for the 24-valve as well. Doing my research in my little Bible there, and a lot of things are very, very similar. Some things are different, but you're going to learn a lot. And this is exciting because it's also a learning experience for me as well, since I don't have very much experience with the VR6 engine in general. So doing some research, asking some questions, because I'm already building a part list and just thinking about what should we do with this VR6. And it comes down to pretty much three options. Number one, pretty much a maximum power, naturally aspirated build, meaning we're not going to go high compression. Supercharger is an option, but going into the VR and doing as much naturally aspirated modifications we can do. Number one, it retains all the original sound of the car, so it's going to sound beautiful. Number two, anyone can do it because there's not a lot to learn, so that's also super cool. Okay. Number three, shaved engine bay, shave engine bay, shave engine bay. You can do a lot more stuff to VR in a shaved engine bay with sticking with naturally aspirated performance. Okay. Things will look a lot cleaner. We'll have a dope engine bay again. But again, that's just one option. Option number two, like Three Bowman says, a supercharger. Another name for the supercharger is actually called a centrifugal charger. Those are the two different types of superchargers or a pro charger is another name for it. They look like turbos. They sit on the side of the head and they run off of a belt. A typical top mount turbo supercharger looks like a big little engine, and it has like a little spindle coming out and it spins a turbine. Very different style supercharger. We can't go that route due to the fact that there's no space for something like that. So what you do is you do a pro charger, which runs the same style, runs off of a belt, and makes power that way. And then the third option is going turbocharged. Okay. Two of them are actually fairly inexpensive to do. One of them is stupid expensive, and there's not much of a reward in performance. Which one do you think it is? Damn, she's out already? Wow. Oh, you all right? Come on, guys. Which one is the most expensive option? Naturally aspirated, supercharged, or turbocharged? What's going on, banging? Eduardo, you're wrong. David Kane, you're also wrong. Awesome, banging. I'm glad you enjoyed those. Supercharging is actually the most expensive option that reaps the least amount of reward. However, that being said, supercharging does keep as much as the original sound of the car. So that is the only benefit of going supercharged, is that you'll keep the VR6 sound. Turbo is actually very inexpensive in comparison to the supercharger option. Naturally aspirated is very affordable because there's not much we can do besides, boring the engine, buying pistons and rods, which we have to do anyways if you're going to go supercharged or turbocharged. Getting cams, and then pretty much everything else. Compound charging it, again, is still pretty affordable. Going to a twin turbo, that's actually still cheaper than going supercharged, which is kind of funny to say that, but it's true. Again, that's one way we can go about it. Now, there's an option number 4, which I've been kind of thinking about, but it will look weird, but I think it would be dope because it's like, it's been done, but it's not very commonly done because it looks goofy and it's not like a thing that people do. I mean, hola, what's going on, Monroe? No, not twin charge, but pretty much a blower supercharger. So in other words, like the V8s where they put the supercharger on top of the engine, blower style supercharger would be the other option. But we're going to have to cut into the hood and stick out of the hood, but it'd be dope. We'd figure out how to design a bracket and everything to hold it. And it would have a really dope noise. A whine, like a supercharger whine would be super cool. Yeah. Sound like a cat, like a it'll sound like you're losing power steering. NA flowing headers, high compression comps, larger cams, auto body. It can be expensive too, kind of barrels. Yeah, David Kane, that is true. But if you think about all those modifications are still needed to do turbo or supercharge. All right, David. So just cut some holes, right? Flintstones. Would work great for me in the South, right? I agree. Love that VR6. I agree. Anybody will love the VR6. Exactly. Check out my blown Volkswagen. Turbocharger. I mean, turboing is cool, but you lose almost all the VR sound going turbo. Just so you know, Ivan. And that's kind of like the downside of going turbo, is that you lose that beautiful exhaust note. And it's going to end up becoming one of those cars that just sounds like every other car. So I don't know. Tico, the highest horsepower output on a 12-valve VR6 has been 200 and I believe 36 horsepower. 236 or 246, I can't remember, on a 12-valve VR6. And that's with a lot of work on a naturally aspirated VR6. Which, I mean, that's a lot of work. Supercharger, you can get up to 300 horsepower with about the same amount of work doing naturally aspirated. Turbocharge, if we do nothing to the engine, just stock pistons and stock rods, we can do a head spacer on the VR and pretty much slap a inexpensive turbo, and we can make 300 horsepower for under $2,000 pretty much. If you add another $2,000 more, so if we go to $4,000, we could do rods and pistons and bring that horsepower up to 400 to 500 all day. Yeah. But will it go boom? Oh yeah, it'll go boom if we go past the 300 horse range on a 100% stock VR6 with the head spacer. Again, that's just the dirt cheap route going turbo on a VR6. What's going on, Ivan? What's going on, everybody else joining in? So again, it's kind of hard, and that's why we're going on this right now. Tico, what's the highest horsepower build I've ever done? About 650 horses is the most powerful car I've ever built on a VR6 and on a 1.8T. So it's hit or miss. I've done both. VR6 was cheaper to do around that much horsepower. The 1.8T cost us a lot more to make that power. But the VR6 blew up and the 1.8T took it. So it's kind of hit or miss. But I'm not going for crazy horsepower numbers. I'm going for fun and reliable. There's a big difference. And obviously we're trying to do this down the road for everybody to be able to afford it and do it with their own car. June Vic, I would love to build a 1,000 horsepower car, but no, that's not realistic. Too true, bud. The Pro Charger kits just sit just to the left of the motor on a 6 pot. Looks like a turbo, and is bling bling. I agree. Yes, and again, there are twin turbo VR6s that have made 1,000 horsepower. My buddy from Malacca Motorsports makes over 800 horsepower and counting on his VR6 S4. So yeah, I mean, making 1,000+ horsepower on a VR6 is extremely easy to do. However, it's not realistic to this channel. This channel is about the average Joe with the average pocket, with the average job, making average income. You guys got to understand that. Pinchao's Garage, is all about everyone, not just the few and the proud that have all that money. No, this is about the average person that doesn't have a shop, that doesn't have, a $50 an hour job, that has a realistic income, because I have a realistic income. I don't make a lot of money. And I live in California, so that kind of like, we don't have any money, So again, we're trying to be realistic for everyone, because the whole purpose of this channel, it's going to be smart, and it's going to be affordable, and it's going to be for everyone. That is the whole purpose of this channel, and we're going to make sure that everybody can afford it. Okay, so again, this build, yeah, definitely, June, I agree. So this build, number one, we're going to inspect the entire car that we get. Okay, so that's the very first thing we have to do. We have to inspect it. We are not just going to go straight to building the engine. We got to inspect the entire car and make sure that the car will be solid for the engine. Okay. That's definitely a smart build for a 5-cylinder build. But again, it's not something I can just grab from here in the United States, There you go, banging. See, now that sounds like a really smart idea. We can build it for Nitrous. Nitrous is cheap, and it's a lot of power for a little bit of money. And that would be fun to build a VR6 Nitrous build, which actually is not difficult to do. We just got to invest into proper pistons. That's all we got to worry about. Proper pistons, because that stuff gets stupid hot. and we just got to build the head for proper compression. That's all we got to do to go full on nitrous, give it a 50 or 100 shot on some runs, and it'd be super fun. You know, rod knock knocking at the door again. It will have, you can get rod knock if we don't learn how to do proper nitrous. Nitrous, you don't just dump it into the engine bay and expect horsepower to just magically appear and your engine not take it. You got to do nitrous based off your ECU or based off of timing. And we can do nitrous by gear, or we can do nitrous by tune. So those are the smarter way to do it. But we had to do it without dumping it all at once. We got to like do first, second gear, very low or no nitrous, and then third, fourth, and fifth dump accordingly based off the gear. Those are the types of way that you can do nitrous. You can't just dump it in there. Honestly, you can't. It's not like an old school V8 where you can just pour 100 shot and call it a day. No. We got to be smart about it and invest correctly. If not, the engine's just going to go kablooey and we're done. You know, but again, we could be very wrong, and the thing will take it like a champ. VR6s are extremely strong blocks. They can take a pretty decent beating as long as we do timing correctly. That's all that matters, is the timing has to be done right. Yeah, it might blow out the block, but hey, who knows? It might not. It might take it with the champ, and again, it might be a super fun build that way. So the way that we're going to do is once we get this car, I'm not going to tell you which car, but currently it's going to be, looks like the Mark IV is going to be, yeah, we're not doing Paul Walker nitrous. No, that's stupid. That's not a smart way to do nitrous. That's the 90s ways of doing nitrous. No, there's way smarter ways of doing it now. Again, we're going to learn how to inspect a car that's been sitting for a long time. So that's number one. We're going to learn to look for any problems in a car that's sitting for a long time. Number three, we're going to learn how to inspect an engine bay and find out what things we can preserve and when things have to go and get replaced. Okay. So we're going to learn a lot of stuff with this car that we get, because it's legitimately going to be what we call in the professional realm a shitbox. POS, which is also another term that we use here in a professional environment. You know, and yes, it's going to be a total shitbox, which I'm honestly excited for. You guys have no idea how excited I've been to get a car that's completely useless and make it beautiful. Okay? Now, again, this whole car is controlled by you guys. You guys are going to invest in it, and the outcome will be based off of you guys. 100% for the people, by the people. I'm just the wrench. I'm just going to be the hand. What's up, McDubbin? And this whole build, again, is going to be for you guys, no one else. You guys can do whatever you want to this build, but the only people that are going to be involved with what most of the control are Patreon members. That's it, because you guys are funding it, not me. I'm wrenching it, and I'm going to get all the support from other companies to take care of it. So you guys who are Patreon members who invested into the car, you guys are the key voters. Okay? So that's what you guys got to understand. You guys are 100% key voters and have pretty much 100% control over this build. So this Friday, just so you guys know, I'm going to reveal the car, and then we're going to do an exterior walk around, interior walk around, an engine bay, and then everything. Banging. The turbo has not been shipped. I haven't made all the products yet for everybody. That's actually what I'm doing this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. At my shop, we're going to design a bunch of parts for you guys for all the winners. So if you guys want to vinyl frame wrap it, I don't care. I will flame wrap it with pink flames and purple leotards, all you want. But purple rain, I do whatever you guys want. Again, your choice, not mine. Because at the end of the day, once this car is done, one of you guys are going to take it home, not me. I'm not taking anything home. You guys are going to be completely under control on who owns this car and what you guys do with it after the fact.
So if you want purple rain.
So yeah, if you guys want the car to be bright purple, pink, yellow with streamers on the side and flames, and I don't care. I'll do it. Again, I will do it. But again, it's not going to be my fault. It's going to be 100% you guys. Ivan, what's going on, man? Ivan, I don't know when we're going to have meets again. I've been trying to get it done, but the state sucks right now. You can't do anything. I've been talking to a couple police officers, and they don't want meets in any public places like restaurants and stuff like that. So, yeah. Eduardo Ortiz, can you get an EPC light if you have vacuum leaks or some cracked lines? Maybe it depends. EPC light is a little bit different. EPC light, you'll get it because either the throttle bodies failed, your gas pedals failed. What's the other one? You might get a crank or knock sensor failure. And I gotten it before for a. What did I gotten it before for? I think. Oh, my math. It failed and it shorted out something else. So I would definitely pull codes because when you get an EPC light, you do get a code. So definitely I would check that for sure and see if you have a code on the engine bay. My evap failed. Time to delete. Yep. I definitely recommend getting rid of that stuff. So the VR6, again, we're going to put up how you guys want to build it, naturally aspirated, with high compression or just stock, and just do some crazy fun builds out of that. Again, we don't know where we're going to go with this engine until we actually tear it down and see if there's actually any stuff wrong with it in general, or if it's so over the hill that we might have to get another VR to put back into it. We don't know yet. And that's where it makes it exciting because we're going to do a lot of learning together and inspecting and learning how to inspect these engines. Tico, you're new to California, so if you're going to do any type of emissions delete, have fun with that because it is very, very hard now in California to get sneaky stuff out there. So have fun with that. Getting a lot of doing emissions delete in California is very, very difficult. So have fun with that. Yeah, it's extremely strict in this state. Again, I mean, I get away with it because I go about it different, completely different route now, because my cars are no longer registered in California. McDubbin, are you going to get the silver Jetta? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things you guys got to understand that it's 100% your guys' choice what car I'm getting. But it looks like we're going to be getting the silver Jetta. All the votes literally from YouTube and from Patreon is like 90% the Jetta, the Mark IV versus the Mark III. That's funny. You got to go to Montana. Nice, McDubbin. Again, I don't know how the interior is yet until we get the car. We will have a car on Friday, just so you guys know. I had to argue with the shop telling my rear coils were compressed. I believe it. I'll probably pick up the MK3. What's up, banging? How hard it is to swap a VR6 in a Jetta that had a 1.8T? Not hard at all. You just need to get a car that had the VR6 harness. You need the harness and ECU from that car and move it over and then wire it back up to factory. Everything should wire right back up as factory in their factory locations. Shouldn't be that difficult for you to do. I still got that $1 for the turbo. What's this? It's all wrinkled. Okay. George Pacheco. For power, cams, intake, exhaust, tune. That is all you can do for power on a VR6, period. If you want to make more power than that, doing those, you're looking at about 15 to 20 horsepower, just so you know, on top of what you already have. David Kane, yes, Ian's Jetta is officially done. He's actually taking it home on Friday. We're actually gonna do a photo shoot on Friday before he takes it home with the Outlander and his car together. It's gonna be pretty fun because we're gonna do a comparison. You know, if I wanted to send you stuff, could we send it to the PO box? Yes. You can send me stuff to the P.O. box. That's fine. Yeah, my Center City one in Escondido. That's on the invoices. Yeah, you guys have them on all your invoices. You have a good one too, sir. Have a good one, Monroe. Can I roll by your house to finally meet you? I've been wearing masks. Need help with oil change and spark plugs. Ivan, not right now, unfortunately. Yeah, a little too much going on right now. David Kane, sweet, running in the map. What do you mean by that? Because right now we're legitimately on 100% stock. Not the 100% stock. We're running just a KO4 on that car right now because we got to properly break it in. We only have put on the car 300 miles so far since the build. And we're waiting for another 1,300 miles before he actually can go into boost pretty much. Usually I recommend 1,500 to 2,000 miles on a fresh rebuild of just driving under 2,500 RPMs daily and changing the oil based off of that. Okay, I got you, David. Yeah, right now he's just he's tuned. He's tuned for like 1820 PSI on a KO4, but we're not going into boost at all, especially on a fresh engine. We want to make sure the rings seat properly and all the bearings break in properly. So banging. So break in oil or what? Yes. So we have a specific procedure that we got from Integrated Engineering and how they break in their engines. Yes, you do have to upgrade your fuel pump for a Franken turbo for sure. Anything bigger than a stock KO4, you do have to upgrade your fuel pump. So we got a list from Integrated Engineering. I've actually had this list for a very long time, for a few years, for breaking in. And what you want to do is, and I'll explain to you guys how you do break-ins. Number one, for what we call for European engines that are built. Hold on. I was real MF dummy just a year and a half ago when it came to cars. Just gotta bust down and do it. That is correct. George, I just picked up a 2004 GTI with an automatic. I'm very sorry. I want to make it a 5-speed. What do I need? God knows, not just a transmission. That's not how that works, buddy. There's a lot more than just a transmission. You need, obviously, the transmission. You need the shift. You need the shift box. You need the shift linkage. You need the 5-speed manual transmission axles. You can't use automatic axles. You need what's it called? Obviously, you got to convert your your engine to a manual. So you need to go from automatic flywheel to don't need to change the hubs. You need to put a manual, a 5-speed manual flywheel with the clutch, a throwout bearing. You need to get rid of the hydraulic brakes. You have to get rid of the brake system and get the manual what we call the manual master cylinder for using the clutch. You got to get the pedal assembly from a manual car. So you need all that entire assembly. You can't just put a clutch in there. It doesn't work that way. You got to get the manual version versus the automatic version. You got to get all that.
It can be done, but it's cheaper just to buy it.
I mean, it's not like it's.
It
can be done, but by the time you're done doing your swap, it's actually, funny thing, cheaper to buy
what you wanted.
A car that has it. If you have another car that's just as good, if you have a clean Mark IV Jetta, and you go buy a beat up Mark IV with like an engine that's seized or broken, and just pull the engine out of that and swap engines over and put that in there, and you'll spend, number one, a quarter of the time, and you'll be up and running in like days versus weeks. Yeah, you can use the same cluster and everything. You can use all that. That's fine. Yeah, there is ways of going around hydro, but geez, it's not. You don't want to go 9 hydraulic. I use Miller's 1040 competition running oil, 500 miles, then 540 full synthetic, and then 2 to 4K intervals when I run in. Okay, David Kane, that's a good way of running in. Now all the hardware too. You got to get all the bolts for that. Have fun. Again, you're going to have a lot of fun trying to find all of that to make sure it works. Now, what we do this is from Integrated Engineering, directly from them when we do builds and we follow them. So, yeah, they're exactly the same, McDubbin. Okay, so when we do a break-in on these motors, I run for the first 10, 15 minutes, not even on the road. I run 2040 conventional oil with a zinc additive. High zinc is what you want to run for the very first run-in on a motor. Again, this is through Integrated Engineering specifications. And again, this is the first 10 to 20 minutes of just turning on the car. The car's not even on the ground yet, okay? Run it in, turn it on, and then dump it. While you dump it, inspect your oil. You want to look for any big chunks of flakes, because that means, number one, bearings weren't seated correctly or installed correctly. Number two, your cams or something else was not, again, you were probably didn't put in enough assembly lube and the car ran dry. Then we put 540 conventional oil, drive it for 15 miles, drain the oil, another engine inspection. Now, the first 15 miles are extremely important for ring seal, meaning you got to get up a very steep hill, but trying to get up a hill with using no boost. When we get to the top of the hill, then we go down, put that sucker in first or second gear, and let the engine do its own braking, like slowing down. What's going to happen is that combustion is going to push down on those rings and help them properly seat faster. And again, this is as per Integrated Engineering's recommendation, not mine, theirs. So I listen to them since they build crazy horsepower engines. Okay. Again, you got to do that for the first 15 miles. Exactly, George. So the next 15 miles, you do the exact same thing. You change the oil, put in a whole oil with the same weight, 540. Do it again, 15 miles, going up a hill, down a hill, using the gears to slow you down, not your brakes. Go back home, drain the oil, inspect. Now we're going to be changing from conventional to synthetic, but we're going to a semi-synthetic, or AKA a synthetic blend. That's going to be 530 weight. So you notice we're making the oil thinner as we keep going down and oil changes. So we dump 530, new filter again, everything, drive the car 100 miles and drive it like a normal person, but no boost. And again, keep it at 2,500 RPMs, no higher, because anything higher after that, you're going to start building boost, and you don't want to do that yet. So do 100 miles, drain your oil, inspect again as you go, because now you're putting 100 miles on the engine. You're putting actual wear on the engine. You definitely want to inspect your oil and look for any chunks, any shine. Grab a light and shine it. If it looks clean, you're good. Make sure you have a magnetic drain plug. That way you can inspect that as well. It's very, very important to do that. And you do that same oil change, semi-synthetic, 530, 100 miles, change. And then you go to now we're going to go down and we're going to full synthetic oil now. Now we've gone from conventional, semi-synthetic to full synthetic. And the reason why we do this, because you want to gradually go to a thinner and thinner oil. Semi-synthetic oils are extremely slippery and thinner than a normal conventional oil. So you want to make sure those oils are breaking in, and then you get into a normal, obviously, again, normal oil base. And you're going to do a 530 full synthetic or a 540. It's up to you from there on what you prefer. Do 300 miles, change the oil, and then your last oil change for 1,000 miles. After that, go balls to the wall, fun, and have fun after that. My car, my Mark IV Filbert, we did the exact same procedure for breaking in. I have yet to have a single problem with this car for 2 years, making 400 horsepower and 22 pounds of boost. So, face down. So I either, number one, did something right or I did something wrong. And it worked really right for me. I could be very wrong, but this car, again, has proven it to me second time that the car is flawless and I don't have any weird issues. What's going on, Tyson? Let's see here. Banging. I want to build my own 1.8T, but it took me almost 2 years to save for my computer. The cost of the bill is like 3 times that. Yeah, it's expensive. Definitely expensive. It's not a realistic, but if you build it right, it will give you years and years of fun.
Brand new car.
Yeah, it's exactly like a brand new car. Ryan, Al, do you think I should upgrade the internals for my Franken Turbo F21 build? Running, okay, now the Ryan Stacy for an F21, yes and no. You do and don't need internals. And the reason why I say that, okay, the reason why I say no is because the F21 makes roughly about 260, 280 horsepower with about 300 to 320 pounds of torque. Okay? However, again, Ryan, listen closely because it's very important. What you can do is get your car all tuned and everything. What you can do is get yourself a boost controller, manual or electronic, and turn your boost down. Okay? So most people who are going to tune that turbo are going to set it to about 20 to 22 PSI, which will make you that much power. Like I said, 260 to 280 horses, which will give you way over 300 pounds of torque. K-Series turbos make a lot of torque. All right? So what I recommend in fear of breaking your engine, because stock rods bend after 300 foot-pounds of torque, not horsepower. Remember that. Horsepower has no matter or care in the world to damage an engine. It's torque. Torque breaks engines. So get yourself, again, an electronic or manual boost controller and turn your boost down 1 to 2 psi, and you'll be set. All right? And you won't have to worry about your engine braking and all that. And another cool thing about having a manual controller or a boost controller, you don't get spikes. Boost controller, the moment it hits boost, it stays there and it doesn't go over, like using the N75 valve, which will hit like 22, 24 psi and then gradually, spike down to where it's supposed to be. Using a manual controller, a lot of people don't like it, but I prefer it. Lets you hit boost and stay there and not allow it to fluctuate, which is safe, very, very safe on your engine and your rods especially. Hell yeah, Tico. Definitely I want to see you build your 1.8T. Hey man, is it normal for an MK4 leaking from the coolant temp sensor or the coolant flange? Yep. Especially on that mileage. You're definitely due for the coolant temp sensor has an O-ring, so replace that. And the coolant flange, you're definitely due for a replacement. You're looking at like $30 in parts, honestly. It's super cheap to replace that part, man. It's honestly like an hour of work. The hardest part, the annoying part of that job is your combi valve next to it. Ivan Orozco, have you ever built a 2-point slow? No, because it's a complete waste of money. Complete waste of money. It's cool, but it's a complete waste of money.
Why is it?
I mean, banging the cast ones are cool, but they shatter. They actually crack. I don't recommend those, actually. When people hit me up and like, oh, should I get the metal ones? Don't get the metal ones. I don't recommend them as much. The plastic ones are actually more reliable, and they tend to have a lot less issues over time with heat. You got to keep in mind, metal does not like expanding and contracting over time. They like to crack over time. And if for any reason you pop in your sensor or you use a flathead screwdriver, something metal against it, it will just break. Not like the plastic ones. The ABS plastics are actually pretty strong. And if you do put a screwdriver to pry something on it to get a clip off or something, you have less chances of that breaking because it kind of bends with you a little bit, has a little bit of flexibility, not a lot, but a little bit, versus the metal ones. Again, my personal recommendation, I don't condone it. I just don't recommend it. You guys can do whatever you want. It's your money, man. My KO3S made 300 foot-pounds of torque, but was a little more. Yeah, I believe it. You're way over 22 PSI on that thing. Poor little turbo. So back to the VR6, guys, that we're all excited to build. Again, tune in on Friday, which we're going to be giving you guys a walk around of the car when we buy it. Number 2, tune in for some new DIYs as well. It's very, very important for a lot of people to understand that I'm here for you guys. I'm here to answer your questions, give you advice. Remember, don't take my advice to the heart. Always double check what I say or quadruple check it, because sometimes I might be wrong, okay? And that's okay. That's the whole point. We're going to learn together, and learning together is going to be what we do together, okay, guys? And that's the whole point of this build that we're going to be doing with the car that we get. Oof, I almost said it. Is there a reason why the previous owner of my MK4 would remove the hose that goes to the turbo to the wastegate? No, that's really bad. You got to put that hose back on. You are the VW guru, man. I trust you with every word you say. Again, do whatever you want. It's your choice whether you trust me or not. But I'm telling you, double check everything I say. Because, again, it's we're learning together. I am still learning about 1.8Ts as I build cars and as I go. I learn how to do new things quicker or, correct myself down the road. That's the whole point of this channel, is all about the learning experience. For a 1.8T, what pump do you recommend? Deshworks drop-in fuel pump. Yep, DW. Best fuel pump on the market. Ray, I don't. Ray, you shut up, fool. I love you.
What do you think? I don't.
Mm-hmm. Again, a lot of the advice I give you guys, again, don't take to heart. I even second guess or double check myself. No, it's not the Outlander stag. I wish it was the official. This is actually from Jägermeister. I wish this was the Outlander hat. That's actually dope. I didn't even think about that. That would have been dope. This would have been a dope hat.
You can make it a shirt.
Yeah, I could. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome, Tico.
Do you even remember how you got that hat?
Yeah, I do remember. I was really intoxicated, but I do remember how I got this hat.
That hat.
Yeah, I know you did.
From the Jaeger.
You got it from the Jaeger lady, the Jägermeister rep.
It's like, do you remember how you got that?
Oh, that sucks, McDubbin. That totally sucks. Yeah, Ray, Big Bear for the win. That's right, buddy. Again, if you're not a Patreon member, please, in the comments, I put the link to become a Patreon member. You guys are going to be getting a lot of extra perks, and you guys are going to get a lot more control over the VR6 build once we get that car. And
they get a chance to get it.
Yes, once the build is done, you guys get the opportunity to win the car. But the only way you guys get that is becoming a Patreon member, period. All right? Have you ever done a 4Motion onto a 1.8T? No, I have not. It is not cost effective, and I don't have the fabrication skills to do that. I wish I did, but I don't have the skills for that, unfortunately. What tune do you recommend for a naturally aspirated 24 valve? Very good one. Oh my gosh. Malone tuning is very good for that. I would actually hit up a Boost Dynamic Tuning. I believe he has now a tune for naturally aspirated cars. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he does. Yeah, I think Trent has one. I'm not 100% sure, but I would hit him up first. Tabanarnak. Hello, my 1.8T Stage 2 custom. Hit the boost at 20 at about 6,000 RPMs. It will drop to 12 to 15. Is that normal? Yeah. Yeah, your rev limiter kicked in. It's okay. He's from Quebec. Quebec. Where's that?
In Canada.
In Canada?
It should be Canada. Quebec.
Right. Quebecer.
Yeah. ER?
Yeah.
Quebec's in Canada.
I don't know. But yeah. Tab. I'm gonna call you Tab, all right? Yeah, it sounds about normal because you just hit your rev limiter, and once you hit a rev limiter, you can't go past 6,000. So yeah, he's from Canada. So
I know my places.
so again, Tab, depending on your tune, if the guy didn't tune your car to go over 6,000 RPMs, once you hit pretty much your rev limit, which is probably 6,000, it's going to drop because it's not going to allow you to rev anymore. So you're going to have to shift, unfortunately. So again, guys, that's exactly right, David Kane. That is the smartest thing to do, is to buy a car that has already 4Motion in it or Quattro, and then build yourself a legit VR or a 1.8T engine and dump it into that. It's cheaper by night and day, and it's just easier to do. Going 4Motion on like a Mark IV platform here in the United States is not cheap. It's dope if you can do it. It's super dope, but it's not cheap. Yeah, I mean, you can buy a rolling R32 shell. I mean, you're still like, what, 5-7 grand in. I mean, it's still not a realistic price. You know, it's still not including the engine and your full build. I mean, by the time you're done, it's ridiculous. You know, and who knows what's wrong with the halodex in that system. You know, if that's even working or not, you know. $1,200 for an R32 shell? I don't know. I'll go look at that. I'll check that out. Because if he has a rolling shell with an R32, like full drivetrain in that, that's like free, honestly. I'd go buy it tomorrow for myself. I'll sell my Mark IV for that. I would. It would be another Mark IV. There'd be no difference. I just swap in and chop over the engine. Yeah, gutted. Yeah, exactly. They don't have anything. That's why it's less than a shell. So, yeah, dude, 500 horsepower all-wheel drive would be amazing. You can do that with an Audi, with a cheap Audi TT. You can go buy an Audi TT with Quattro for like $2 grand here in the US. $2,000 to $3,000 in there. You're done. Has a 1.8T, has all-wheel drive. Just build it. But then you're just going to blow up your halodex because they can't handle power worth shit. Horrible, horrible halodex system on those cars. They're amazing when they work, but the moment you give them power, they're just garbage. You found an R32 with a manual for $1,000? I don't believe that. If you did, you should buy that like immediately. Tab, then I would definitely look for boost leaks. That sounds like you have a boost leak. Yeah, the one with the engine in the front and the back is actually a Mark III. It's a green Mark III that has a twin engine making like over 1,400 horsepower. It's insane. Yeah, it's not a Mark IV. A TT is a hairdresser car. I agree. They're ugly little girl cars, but they're dope.
Hey,
a
girl car.
It is a girl car.
Like the Beetle.
Yeah, like the Beetle.
It's like the Beetle, though.
Yeah, no, it's a gorgeous car. I agree that Mark III VR or twin VR turbo, whatever it is a dope car. So, if you see that on the ground, those are all my brackets for the power steering relocation kit. I just made like 20 of them tonight. I'm gonna go take. Yeah, we have a bunch of back orders. So a lot of you guys who ordered kits, and then a lot of you guys who won kits, I'm making them. They're just slow. A lot of materials have been super short stock, but we got a lot of cool product coming. This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I'm designing the skid plates for you guys. I'm designing 2 super special products. Number 1, we're going to be making custom intake boxes for your cars, for cars that have shaved bays and for cars who keep the battery in the bay. So we're going to be offering 2 different options. And they're going to be real ram air intakes. Yes. They don't exist for actually our cars, by the way. And then we're also going to be designing heat shields for cars with 1.8Ts, with turbos, VRs, and we also got a new dress-up kit as well. So all these new products are coming very, very soon, guys, for your Mark IV. And we're going to be designing them from 1.8Ts and now for VR6s as well. When is the battery relocation kit coming out? Good question, David. Very soon, actually. I'm going to be ordering all the wiring. Yeah, we just got to make realistic sense of pricing because it's not cheap. But it will be coming soon. I've been trying to gauge the wire length for everyone for this kit because it's a lot of wire. It's a lot of wire, and we want to upgrade not just the power wire. We want to upgrade your ground connections as well because since you're going to be going to a much, much larger gauge, your grounds have to be supplemented as well to prevent overheating on the wiring. So that is all coming soon. Again, I'm going to be designing them, so all it is just going to be a bolt-on kit for everyone. There'll be no stripping wire, no anything besides putting the battery in the trunk, running the wire to the trunk, and going to do everything from there. No, stick with the N75 for a KL3 turbo. That is correct. We relocate the battery to the trunk or the boot, as you guys on the other side of the pound call it. And it'll be your choice to keep it in the trunk or put it in the wheel well. It's really going to be your choice. Now, there's going to be one thing. You cannot use venting batteries or batteries that have liquid, okay? In other words, liquid cell batteries, you're not allowed to use this kit with. You have to use dry cell, in other words, gel type or AGM, advanced glass mat. You cannot use batteries that use liquid with this because you will be legitimately just venting hydrogen and some other nasty chemicals into your car that can potentially kill you. You don't want that. But if you use a dry cell like a deep cycle, you have no problems. Whole different scenario. Okay? And this is why I haven't released the kit yet because I got to be smart about it because it's not easy to do just to dump it in a random location. I'm also going to be designing kind of like a shaved engine bay kit so you can tuck all your wiring into a whole other location of your engine bay without cutting your wires or splicing them and making them longer. There's going to be a cool kit that I'm going to be releasing soon. But it's going to be, again, it's going to take me some time to design it because I'm going to use the VR6 as a prototype to do it. David, dry cell batteries are what we call deep cycle batteries. That's another term for them. They're dry cell. They don't have any liquid in them. They use gel or they use AGM, advanced glass mat. We call them dry cell because you don't have to add liquid to them. They're sealed. They don't have any venting in the battery. They're super, super common. They're mostly used. They're mostly used for trucks, like big trucks, mostly. Yeah. McDubbin, what about an intercooler for the 1.8T? Actually, it's very easy to do a 1.8T intercooler versus a Corrado. On the Mark II, 1.8, or I mean the Mark II. What bumper are you using, McDubbin? Are you using a big bumper or a small bumper? Oh, Dale, you haven't missed much. We're just talking car. Okay, so you have a big bumper. The good thing about a big bumper Mark II, right at the bottom of the big bumper, you have obviously that grill, that big hole, big gap underneath there. So underneath there, you can put an intercooler right behind the bumper without doing any bumper work, and you can run the intercooler piping to the sides and go up. One thing though, McDubbin, what you want to do is get an Audi TT intake manifold where the throttle body's on the right side, not on the left. I highly recommend doing that because running the piping, the intercooler piping up is just a hassle, honestly. It's not the best way of doing it on this car. On the left side of the car, for some reason, there's just less space. But if you do it on the go left and over, and it's kind of weird, but if you do the intercooler pipe over and go to the turbo and then intercooler pipe to the throttle body, it's a lot easier. McDubbin, you can get them on eBay. They're dirt cheap. They're like $100, dude. Angel, what's up, man? Love my powder toast man figure. I love it. So I recently scored another MK4 GTI, but a VR6. PO said it overheated, just parked it, so I checked the oil thoroughly and no signs of water. That's good. Very good. What you want to do if it overheated, what you really want to concern yourself about is not about it overheating, but about the engine warping when they overheat. Okay? Dale, I heard kit. Yes, we're talking about a battery relocation kit, Dale. David Kane, I'll have to look up into deep cycle batteries then, dude. Heat shield wise, the pics I sent in my email from my old engine bay. Is that a style you're going for to make? Don't remember. I gotta look at your pictures again. Heat shields. There's a couple styles that I'm doing, but yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I gotta look at your pictures again, David, so I can remember what we were talking about. You're welcome, Angel. You're definitely welcome, sir. All right, we're at an hour. Whew, we always go into an hour. I wanted to make this short today. Again, guys, I highly and I please ask you guys to become a Patreon member. Becoming a Patreon member helps us a lot here with the Jetta that we're going to be building. We don't know if we're going to be getting a Mark III Jetta or a Mark IV Jetta, but it looks like we're going to get the Mark IV, honestly. Number one, it's cheaper, it's closer. And again, it's a VR6, so I know you guys want a VR6. You guys have been asking over and over and over. So we're going to get a VR6 no matter what. That is the goal. But for the VR6 build to happen, the only way it's going to happen is you guys become a Patreon member. And becoming a Patreon member, you get, number one, perks. Number two, you guys get early access to new DIYs that are strictly to that car with the VR6. So you guys get early access. Everybody else is going to get the video about a week to 2 weeks later. So please remember, when you guys become a Patreon, you guys get early access to videos, awesome perks, discounts on merchandise. You also guys get dibs on new merchandise, and we're going to give you guys personalized other private questions, Q&A sessions with you guys as well about the car. And on top of that, you guys, only Patreon members are going to win the car once it's done.
And you might get that car wash video.
All right, David, I definitely want to look at that.
Might get that car wash video after all.
Yeah, you guys might get that car wash video after all as well. Dale, I will definitely look at your UTE build. I'm actually considering building this Jetta as a UTE for you guys. But again, it's not my choice. It is an option for you guys, not for me. I would love to make this Jetta into a truck. It'd be so dope. Again, but I can't do it. You guys have to do it. So the Corrado build is finally underway. The last portion of parts are coming in. So when those come in, we're going to be building very, very soon, and we're going to be working on the Corrado. The Corrado is for everybody. David Kane. So let's assume you did win the car. So what we do is we would get you all the paperwork for the car, and more likely we would split the cost to ship the car to you in the UK. pretty simple. Now, it's going to be your responsibility to obviously get the car registered and legal in your country. I will help you ship the car to your country, and obviously,
You'd have to help with the paperwork.
you will have to help with the paperwork and everything. We'll do our part here in the United States to get it to you, and then we'll go halvesies on shipping. That's not a problem. You know, my goal is that this car will be 100% worldwide. Everybody gets to watch it. Everybody gets to enjoy it. And then everybody gets to be a part of it to win it. Simple as that. The Corrado, same exact thing. Anybody?
I thought we were doing pickup at SoCal for that.
No.
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 That was that one.
Spraps, that I don't know, sir. I don't know. Again, the Corrado build is going to be the same concept, but we're going to be doing that a little differently for you guys. But the Corrado is open to all Patreon and YouTube subscribers. So again, we have 2 cars we're going to be giving away. 2. Okay? A Corrado and then a Mark IV or Mark III, depending on which car we get. So we're going to be doing that, and obviously, as we build the engine, we're going to wrap the car. I know that. I'm not going to get the car painted. Painting cars is very, very expensive, so I think we're going to do a wrap on the car that we buy next. This week. All right, but please, please, please head on over to my Patreon page. If you're not a Patreon, become one, because this will allow us to build the car faster. David Kane, no, it's not a G. It was a G60, but now it's a 1.8T swap Corrado, big turbo, custom brake system. I mean, I went all out on this car, and we got more stuff coming to it. Just so you know, for David Kane, and we got a lot of DIYs coming too for that as well. Actually, next week, I'm gonna give you guys a sneak peek on the Corrado in 4K. I'm going to film that car in 4K next week to show you guys what you guys are going to be able to win on that car as well. Nomlet Papo. Yes, you can make 300 horsepower, but you're going to make a lot more torque than horsepower with an F23, so you got to be very careful. Any experience with Euro Customs? No, sir. Sorry, Jeremy. But I know it's good stuff. I highly recommend them. I definitely recommend them. By all my friends who have them, good stuff. Any more questions before we say goodbye? Because I got to get to editing some videos tonight. So I'm going to be posting up some videos tonight as well on YouTube tonight, guys. All right, I'm going to count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, we're done with questions. Everybody have a wonderful night. Aloha, Dale. Aloha.
Shaka, bra.
Shaka. All right, guys. You guys have a wonderful night. What I see from an 034 manifold. 034 manifold, you're looking about anywhere from 10 to 20 horsepower just on the manifold alone. Proper tuning, you'll probably even get more. All right? Mm-hmm. What do you want, Ray? You can call me. You have my phone number, fool.
Night, Ray.
Good night, Ray. This guy. Everybody, definitely take care. Have a wonderful night. And please be safe out there, all right? Yeah, love you too, buddy. This guy. And as always, if you see another fellow dubber on the road, give him a thumbs up, give him a peace sign, respect one another, because we're all the same. We're all human, and we all have the same interests here about loving cars, okay? We're all enthusiasts. And again, yeah, keep on dubbing. Definitely keep on dubbing. And as always, here at Pinche Al's Garage, we're going to break, we're going to fix, and we're going to repeat. Peace out, everyone, and have a wonderful night.